The goal is to kick the most amount of ass possible with this truck. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the vlog, and welcome back to another Tesla Talk Tuesday. Yes, I'm referring to the Cybertruck. Elon Musk has recently done a little interview, and well, that is a direct quote from him. They want to make this truck as cool as possible, and well, they weren't really out to, do these marketing studies to see what design would be best. They just wanted to make the most durable truck, and by making it stainless steel, you don't have to worry about scuffing the paint or little dings, because it's made out of bulletproof, effectively a bulletproof body with shatterproof glass, and that's awesome. So I'm very excited. Now I guess there was also a recent study done based to figure out like demand of the Cybertruck versus Rivian's R1T, their truck, and it's about equal in the US. Now I'm very excited for both, don't get me wrong. The biggest selling point for me is the charging network, the Tesla supercharging network. Now, even with 500 plus miles of range, which is an insane amount of range for an electric vehicle, especially seeing as how right now the Model S with a little over 400 miles of range is the longest range electric vehicle out. Most other ones are in like the 200 some mile range or less that are non-Tesla. So having over 500 miles of range for the tri-motor variant of the Cybertruck is awesome. The Rivian will be a little over 400 or around 400 miles, which still isn't bad. But there's no Tesla supercharging network. So that's kind of my big deal breaker right now. You can't do road trips, you can't go far, because if you do, you got to rely on some other charging source or find some other fast chargers. So it's not the end of the world, but I just don't think that's built out enough yet for me to be comfortable. It might be another, 2 or 3 years. Whereas the Rivian truck coming out next year, June, I believe, and then the Cybertruck also coming out next year. So very excited for both. And there's that. Now, speaking of the Cybertruck, as you know, or as you may not know, they did recently announce that they will be building the Cybertruck and the Semi in Austin, Texas at their new factory that they're building out there. That's also where the 3 and Y will be built for more of like the East Coast of the US or the east side of the US. Elon did mention that there could definitely be a third, I don't know, another factory being built probably in the Northeast. There's just such a huge demand up here, and he said the logistics of transporting and shipping all of the cars from the West Coast right now obviously will get easier with Austin, but that's still in the middle of the country, far south. So to go all the way up to New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, even the DMV area, there's a ton of demand here. And speaking of demand, Sterling Tesla, a brand new service center / showroom, I think, just opened in Sterling, Virginia. Previously, in the Northern Virginia area, it was only the Tyson's Corner one, which a lot of people were complaining about. The service center was crazy, way too many cars there, and they just couldn't keep up with the demand. Luckily, I used the Rockville Service Center, but there's also the Owings Mills Service Center in Maryland. Some people in Virginia were splitting between Tyson's Corner going all the way down to, I think, the Richmond Service Center even, which is, potentially 2.5, 3 hours from some people. And so hopefully they'll alleviate some of the pressure with that new one. And well, Tesla is expanding the service center, I guess, a network in the US to help alleviate some of these things. Just going along with that to alleviate pressure, Tesla outsold, I think, the next 3 biggest EV cars or EV makers. So Tesla's just absolutely crushing it with their EV sales. They were able to keep demand increasing even during this pandemic, so that really says a lot. Now back to the Cybertruck. Elon does say that it's highly likely to make a smaller version of the Cybertruck for Europe. He also did say that if this Cybertruck doesn't sell well, they can make a normal, boring Cybertruck, just like all the other automakers do, and they'll sell that. So, I mean, if you're really worried about the design, you shouldn't be. However, I'm excited for the design. I think it's something different. It's gonna stir up the industry a little bit. And I think these trucks are just gonna be so polarizing on the road. It looks so futuristic. You really haven't seen anything like it. A lot of people hate the design. It's really grown on me, and I kind of like that it really stands out. I mean, if you haven't been able to tell already, my car is wrapped in this crazy plaid checkered pattern, so I guess it kind of makes sense. But either way, I'm very excited, and I would be interested to see a smaller version of the Cybertruck in the US still, because I think you would get a better range, still like the usability and durability, and it would fit in my garage, because, well, this Cybertruck doesn't fit in my garage, and I guess I'm a little bit concerned because it's like, well, how do I charge at home? it's going to be much more difficult. So yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I guess I don't really care. I guess I'll figure it out. 500 miles range, you can charge and then kind of leave it out of the garage for a while, and not a big deal. So we'll see how that works out, but I guess I have about a year to think about those things or plan. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Now, we're definitely keeping this one nice and short and sweet, but something that's very interesting is that China-made Tesla's quality is up here. US-made quality down here. Why the difference? Like, why is there such a drastic difference, and why is the quality so much better on Tesla's coming out of the Shanghai factory versus Tesla being made in the US? I mean, it's crazy. If you look at these two charts, the JD Power 2020 US initial quality study says 250 problems per 100 vehicles. That's crazy. That's averaging 2.5 problems per vehicle. Now, if you look at the chart right next to it, I don't know what it says, but the point is it's 0.7, and Teslas are like the least problematic, or at least the Model 3 is. So this is a drastic and stark like difference between the two, which is pretty wild. Last but not least, the reason they went with the Austin factory was partially due to when they approached some executives and people that were going to have to relocate to Austin for this new factory. They basically reached out to them and said, like, hey, if you weren't living in California, where would you want to live? So when they were looking, especially when it came down to, like, I think it was what, Tulsa and Austin, or even just Texas in general, more people were saying Austin. Even within Texas, like Austin versus Dallas versus somewhere else, they still voted on Austin, and that's part of where that decision came from. So Elon did take into consideration the employees, which is really cool to see. And while Austin is a pretty cool town, I luckily was able to visit it, I think back in November-ish, right before this whole pandemic stuff happened. It was a good time. So, I mean, cool town, and I think it'll bring a lot of jobs to the area, and it'll be interesting to see what happens, because right now Tesla can't sell direct to consumers in Texas. So maybe that will change, but maybe it won't. Either way, big truck place. So the fact that they're making the Cybertruck there is also an interesting statement. That could be part of it, but either way, I'm excited to see this factory go up. The way he's talking about how the surrounding area will be, it's like right along some like river or something, and it's just going to be this awesome oasis. But I can't wait to see this factory go in and the Cybertruck start coming out. I'm very excited for all of that. But that is going to be it for this Tesla Talk Tuesday. If you guys enjoyed this, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. But until next time, thanks for watching.